I am my work. I'm also Sally Vardaman, your host for this evening and the instigator of all of this. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you all of my friends, friends of friends, everyone who's here. I'm so grateful. I am my work. It's an unpopular sentiment. People often insist, sorry, I'm gonna have to fix this. People so often insist that their work does not define them. Ironic, isn't it? We grant each other martyrdom for being busy and overwhelmed, and then we rush to distance ourselves from the work we care the most about. Years ago, I was getting a divorce and job hunting after being at home with my kids full-time for several years. My industry was not hiring. Those that were didn't want to hire me. They scoffed at my years out of the workforce. At the lowest point in my life, I felt irrelevant and useless. And I was not quite 40 years old. I was exhausted and emotionally spent. It was easy to believe this version of myself. After several rejections, I decided to own my status. I added to my resume, Director of Domestic Chaos. A leadership position I had held for 7 years, in which I managed development of demanding clientele and their associates, providing daily hand-holding, encouragement, training in self-sufficiency, conflict resolution, and crisis management. This new feature of my resume made me a more charming candidate and paved the way for conversations about workplace flexibility, which I desperately needed and was afraid to ask for. I finally got the job with the help of a friend. It was entry-level pay and not enough to pay my bills, but it was a start. And I slowly built a reputation again. I found another job and another, and a promotion here and a promotion there, and I found my work legs again and worked my way into work that I love. This journey has given me a confidence I never imagined possible, not because I won't fail, but because I know I can rise again. It is, man, bear with me, folks. I'm getting my aesthetics worked out up here. It is this experience that compelled me to want to use some of the funds from this event to support Dress for Success Twin Cities. And all the hubbub, Stephanie, are you here? Hi. Thank you. We actually have a couple of seats down here for you. I'm really sorry I messed that up. Appearance matters, especially for women, but this group does far more. Supporting women with far greater barriers of employment than I faced and just described a moment ago. Through interview coaching, emotional and financial literacy education, and other resources that help women find stable employment and build stable lives. Dress for Success also provides services through a partnership with the Shakopee Women's Prison's Early Release Program. Their mission is to empower women to achieve economic independence by providing a network of support, professional attire, and the development tools to help and women thrive in work and in life. Thank you so much for being here. As for me, I'm still Director of Domestic Chaos. I am also a contract manager for an insurance company, a writer, a comedian, and now a producer. They are all my work, and they represent who I am quite well. The skills that serve me well in all of these roles are critical thinking, compassion, strong argumentation, and writing skills, and the vision to see the big picture. Unfortunately, they've yet to yield me a clean house. Last spring, my daughter's basketball coach said something that will forever inform how I view effort. He shared a conversation with other coaches about how to teach toughness in a player. The coaches pondered this and decided you can't teach it. It's innate. But he said if you have one player, she will rub off on a couple more. If you have two tough players, they'll influence a few more. But the critical mass is 4 tough players on a team. 4 tough players will infuse the whole team and establish a culture of toughness. A culture of toughness. Coach Freilich's words linger in my ear when I talk to myself or encourage a colleague or a friend or my kids. I hover a little less when my daughter plays goalie in soccer like she did last week. She fought for the ball so fiercely, she took 2 cleats in the head and a body slam. But she got up and she stayed in the game. I'll admit I was only okay with this because I had faith in the coach who checked her out before play resumed. These are the conversations I want to start and the impetus for this event. When just an idea, I shared it with Kathy Ingen of Shift and Spark. She and Linda Heath are pros on the job hunt and career planning long term. Their book, Gold, the Curated Guide to the Modern Day Job Hunt, was invaluable in my search for what became my current day job. You can purchase this book online, and they'll have some in the lobby after the show. This show is a reality because Shift and Spark immediately signed on with enthusiasm and encouragement as our first sponsor. Then came Kaya Kegley of Wonder Spark Images, who you'll see capturing tonight's event. I've watched Kaya's photography develop over the last decade, documenting sports, family life, community engagement, and politics, all things culinary and unlimited beauty. She enthusiastically came on board, and her portraiture can be viewed at wondersparkimages.com. And finally, Poppy Stella Rose, an online shop which retails the creations of Minnesota artists and donates a portion back to our community. Poppy Stella Rose owner Sarah Kuhn generously reached out to help because she had faith in this show. You can view her beautifully curated collection of jewelry, clothing, and household items at poppystellarose.com, all made by local Minnesota artists. Thank you to these sponsors for making tonight a reality, and thank you to the women you are about to hear for trusting me with their stories